Hey, we got a coach that'll actually talk about recruiting during the season. Hey, I'm David Waters, the Gators Breakdown, and Billy Napier was asked about, hey, how hard is it to keep this recruiting class together with the Gators, with the way the Gators are performing this season? So, of course, three flips in the past week or so for the Gators. And of course, that's going to coincide with the record that Florida's showing on the field right now. And a lot of people are going to make that link there. So, hey, Billy Napier, of course, was going to be asked about it. He didn't shy away from it with his answer.
To the challenges that come with recruiting at this time of year and keeping a strong class together just when the results have been what they've been on the field as of late?
Yeah, no, it's a battle. I mean, I think, and look, it's not this time of year. It's every day of the year, right? So it's part of the job, And look, I would tell you, you win some, you lose some, and I think it's highly competitive. I think it's good to have some players that everybody want, truth be known. So, look, it comes with the territory. I think recruiting challenges your resiliency, and ultimately for me, I think it's important that we get it right in the front end, right? We want players that have conviction about being here, that believe in, the experience that they're going to have at the University of Florida relative to the degree, all the things that come along with being an alumni here, the resources that we have to offer as a football program. And, you got to bat, sometimes you're going to go through some things like that. It's nothing new, right? This is a year-round battle that we do. We do it every year, and we're right in the middle of some of those.
When you have a few losses like you've had, is it important to punch back and maybe go get some wins in the recruiting?
Yeah.
Is that like the most important thing right now?
Well,
Keep the momentum going and get it
I
back?
think momentum's real. And look, I think anyone would, at any profession, I think momentum's a key component, right? And I think ultimately there's one way to get momentum back, right? And that's to go compete, We specifically have talked about that. I think it's part of it. And look, it's what we sign up for, right? It's part of the challenge. It's part of the competition. I mean, I think recruiting is highly competitive. I enjoy it. And, there's always going to be some of that. It's not going away, right? So you got to get used to it.
Well, it certainly is nice to hear from a coach that embraces recruiting during the season, and we'll actually talk about it during the season. But of course, that doesn't really make us feel a whole lot better with the recent results. Jamonte Waller, Wardell Mack, Nasir Johnson flipping away from the Gators. And of course, it really hurts the defensive side of this class. And kind of going back to what Napier was saying and pairing it all together, it was the important part of building this class mostly before the season, because there was a good chance Florida was going to have the season that probably was not going to be noticed in the positive light. Now, some of us probably didn't expect it to be this bad, but there was always the chance for it to be this bad, of course. And look, it's not like Billy Napier was selling the recruits Florida was going to go be this great team this year. So they knew what they were getting into, but once you see it, and especially on the defensive side of the football, that's probably going to creep into some recruits' minds of, hey, what am I getting into at Florida? Got a young DC and Austin Armstrong. Defense hasn't shown much progress this year. So, of course, it's natural that this was probably going to happen. And once the results started to add up, it was going to be harder to keep some of the class. And Billy Napier talked about it, momentum. And look, that's not just in recruiting for Billy Napier. That's been his tenure so far at Florida, on the field, off the field, the results, the wins, the losses. Go back. And we've done this before, but you beat Utah last season only to go lose to Kentucky. And then you had some big wins versus A&M and South Carolina, only to lose inexcusably to Vanderbilt. And then still go play FSU on the road tough last year, but lose that. You couldn't keep the momentum late in the season. And then kind of this year as well, you get the big win over Tennessee. Billy Napier even mentioned it to the team in the locker room right after the game. We've got to keep this momentum up, and they haven't been able to do so. And you have this 5-2 start to this season, setting Florida up for an end-of-season run that could turn the eyes of a lot of recruits. Even some guys you have as targets to maybe put even a better finish to this class Well, the finish to the season has Florida 5-5 when Billy Napier's being asked about recruiting right now, and it's not trending in the right direction. 5-5, 3 straight losses, and now 3 straight flips away from this class on the defensive side of the football. So momentum certainly has been an issue for Billy Napier so far in his 2 years at Florida. And you'd love to find some, and this class was supposed to be it. You built this class. If you had any kind of positive momentum during the season, this class was going to stay intact. It was, I'm sorry, I don't think Jamonte Waller is looking around and going to Auburn. I know NIL and money, all that plays into it as well, but positive results on the field probably keeps him in this class. Nasir Johnson, that one's a little more difficult, but still, if Florida was playing good, you got a better chance of keeping him. But at the same time, Georgia didn't show interest early. They started showing interest late. And now, he flips to Georgia. So now, of course, you got to build it back up. Can you build any kind of momentum with this late season games? Can you get some wins you're not supposed to? Maybe make some people feel better, at least to keep some more possible flips at bay so guys don't flip. But, hey, to go build back up this defensive line, specifically at defensive tackle. Go get some high-profile cornerbacks. Go build an offensive line together. How hard would that be? Well, the way this end of the season is playing out, it'd be hard to back it up. But also hanging on to the rest of the class as losses mount, that'd be an issue as well. So Billy Napier really got to find one key word is momentum. You got about a month till early signing day. If you got anything in your back pocket, if you got some guys ready to pop, if you got some guys close, can you create any sort of momentum on the field, off the field, to get those guys to flip, to get those guys to commit to Florida? And that's what we're looking for right here. So it is encouraging in some ways that Billy Napier knows the importance of recruiting. That's what one of the selling points of Billy Napier was to be able to come in and recruit at a level that would get Florida back to competing. But now, with this recent trend of flips, it does kind of creep in. Where is this class going to end up finish? And look, if you look at it right now, you were up to third in the rankings. And I'll pull it up here one more time just to make sure I'm right now. But Florida has dropped to 5th right now in the 24/7 Sports Composite. Georgia number 1, Ohio State 2, Florida State 3, Bama 4, Florida 5. What can you do to stay in this area? Look, top 10 isn't really good enough anymore. That's it. And it's also not what we thought we were getting with Billy Napier as head coach and the recruiting prowess he's supposed to have. We've seen it can be done. What kind of finish to the season? What kind of finish to the class can Billy Napier put together to keep Florida on the right track? But when you got Georgia in front of you, and now Florida State in front of you, Alabama, who's in your conference, it's going to be tough. And, of course, Texas, Oklahoma coming in. This is only getting harder. This class, this 2024 class, has to have a good finish for Billy Napier. He knows it. But now, Florida's got to fight through the weeds to finish this class. All right, that'll do it for this little short update. Just wanted to update you guys on what Billy Napier wanted to say about the recent recruiting trend for Florida. Hit that like button. Subscribe to Gators Breakdown if you haven't done so yet. I'm David Waters. Guys and girls out there, thank you for joining me on this update from Gators Breakdown.